Shalom. This is Hasanya. Uh, Thank you for being with me today. We are here getting ready to read from the HalleluYAH scriptures, where we are in Yirmeyahu or Jeremiah. We completed chapter 30, so we're beginning with chapter 31 today. We're going to begin with a word of prayer and go ahead and get right into the reading. Um, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for waking me up in it with the desire to learn more about you by reading your word. Father, thank you for the continued desire that I have, Father, to open the Bible and read your word. Father, grace me with knowledge and wisdom and understanding regarding what I read. And please don't let me be deceived by the enemy and lead me into all truth. Father, let me decrease as you increase in me. Father, put a hedge of protection around me, put a hedge of protection around those I care about, my daughter, my siblings, Yasharel. Please continue to grace us, give us your grace and mercy, Father. I repent of my sins, Father, and ask your forgiveness for things I've done knowingly and in ignorance, Father. And ask you to help me shut doors, Father, that I've opened due to sin. Father, I renounce any and everything I've come into agreement with, Father. Anything, even in my dreams, Father, anything that I've come into agreement with, thoughts that have not immediately rebuked, or I just renounce them now, Father. And I ask you to help me close those doors as well. Father, I submit myself to no one but you, the creator of heaven and earth, to the creator to my creator, to the one who set me in my mother's womb and knew me before time. I submit myself to you, Father, and to your will and your way. And I ask you to continually guide me, protect me, keep me. And I just say thank you, Father. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for the blessings that you've sent my way. Thank you for continuing to shield me, to guide me. Thank you, Father. Just thank you for all you're doing. Because I'm not worthy, but you still bless me, and I'm so very grateful, Father. These and all other things I ask and pray in your name, Father. So be it, and may it be so. Okay, so again, we are in Yirmeyahu, chapter 31, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So, at that time declares Yah, I shall be the Elohim of all the clans of Yasharel, and they shall be my people. Thus said Yah, a people escaped from the sword, found favor in the wilderness. Yasharel went when it went to find rest. Yah appeared to me from afar. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, I shall draw you with kindness. I'm going to build you again, and you shall be rebuilt, O maiden of Yasharel. Again, you shall take up your tambourines and go forth in dances of those who rejoice. Again, you shall plant vines on the mountains of Shamaron. The planters shall plant and treat them as common. For there shall be a day when the watchmen cry on Mount Ephraim, arise and let us go up to Zion, to Yah, our Elohim. For thus says Yah, sing with gladness for Yaakov and shout among the chief of the nations. Cry out, give praise and say, O Yah, save your people, the remnant of Yasharal. See, I am bringing them from the land of the north, and shall gather them from the ends of the earth. Among them, the bind, the lame, those with child, and those in labor together, a great assembly returning here. With weeping they shall come, and with prayers I bring them, I shall make them walk by the rivers of water in a straight way in which they do not stumble. For I shall be a father to Yasharel and Ephraim, and he is my firstborn. Okay. Hear the word of Yah, O Gentiles, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He who scattered Yasharel gathers him, and shall guard him as the shepherd his flock. For Yah shall ransom Yaakov, and redeem him from the hand of one stronger than he. Wow. For Yah shall ransom Yaakov, and redeem him from the hand of one stronger than he. And they shall come in and shall sing on the height of Zion, and flow toward the goodness of Yah for grain and for new wine, and for oil, and for the young of the flock and the herd. And there shall be like a well-watered garden, and never languish again. Then shall a maiden rejoice in a dance, and young men an ode together. And I shall turn their mourning to joy, and shall comfort them, and shall make them rejoice from their sorrow, and shall fill the being of the Kohanim with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, declares Yah. Thus says Yah, a voice was heard in Ramah, wailing, bitter weeping, Rahel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Thus said Yah, hold back your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for there is a reward for your work, declares Yah, and they shall return from the land of the enemy, and there is expectancy for your latter end, declares Yah, and your children shall return to their own country. I have clearly heard Ephraim lamenting. You have chastised me, and I was chastised like an untrained calf. Turn me back, and I shall turn back. For you are Yah, my Elohim. For after my turning back, I repented, and after I was instructed, I struck myself on the thigh. I was ashamed, even humiliated, for I bore the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim a precious son to me, a child of delights? For though I spoke against him, I still remembered him. That is why my affections were deeply moved for him. I have great compassion for him, declares Yah. Put up signposts, make landmarks, lay your heart toward the highway, the way in which you went. Turn back, O maiden of Yasharel. Turn back to these cities of yours. Till when would you turn here and there, O backsliding daughter? For Yah has created what is new on earth. A woman encompasses a man. Thus said Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, let them once again say this word in the land of Yehuda and in its cities when I turn back their captivity. Yah barak you, O home of righteousness, mountain of Kodeshah, and in Yehuda and all its cities, farmers and those who journey with flocks shall dwell together, for I shall fill the weary being, and I shall replenish every grieved being. At this I awoke and looked around, and my sleep was sweet to me. See, the days are coming, declares Yah, that I shall sow the house of Yasharel and the house of Yehuda with the seed of man and the seed of beast. And it shall be that as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so I shall watch over them to build and to plant, declares Yah. In those days they shall no longer say the fathers ate sour grapes and the children's teeth were blunted, but each one shall die for his own wickedness. Whoever eats sour grapes, his teeth shall be blunted. See, the days are coming, declares Yah, when I shall make a new covenant with the house of Yasharel and with the house of Yehuda, not like the covenant I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim, my covenant which they broke, though I was a husband to them, declares Yah. For this is the covenant I shall make with the house of Yasharel after those days, declares Yah. I shall put my Torah in their inward parts and write in their hearts, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And no longer shall they teach each one his neighbor and each one his brother, saying, Know Yah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, declares Yah. For I shall forgive their wickedness and remember their sin no more. Thus said Yah, who gives the sun for a light by day, and the laws of the moon and the stars for a light by night, who stirs up the sea and its waves roar. Yah of hosts is his name. If these laws vanish from before me, declares Yah, then the seed of Yasharel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus said Yah, if the Shamaim above could be measured and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I would also cast off all the seed of Yasharel for all they have done, declares Yah. See, the days are coming, declares Yah, that the city shall be built for Yah from the tower of Hananel to the corner gate, and the measuring line shall again extend straight ahead to the hill Gareb. Then it shall turn toward Goa, and all the valley of the dead bodies and of the ashes, and all the fields as far as the Wadi Kidron to the corner of the horse gate toward the east is to be Kadesh to Yah. It shall not be plucked up or thrown down any more forever. Okay, chapter 32. The word that came to Yirmeyahu from Yah in the 10th year of Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar. Now at that time the army of the sovereign of Babel besieged Jerusalem, and Yirmeyahu the Nabi was shut up in the court of the guard, which was in the house of the sovereign of Yehuda. Okay. For Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, had shut him up, saying, Why do you Nebuah? Saying, Thus said Yah, See, I am giving this city into the hand of the sovereign of Babel, and he shall take it. And Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, shall not escape from the hand of the Cashtites, but certainly be given into the hand of the sovereign of Babel, and shall speak with him face to face and see him eye to eye. And he shall lead Sidkiyahu to Babel and be there until I visit him, declares Yah. Though you fight with the Cashtites, you shall not prosper. And Yirmeyahu said, The word of Yah came to me, saying, See, Hanamael, son of Shalom, your uncle, is coming to you, saying, By my field, which is in Anathoth, for the right of the redemption is yours to buy it. So Hanamael, my uncle's son, came to me in the court of the guard, according to the word of Yah, and said to me, Please buy my field that is in Anathoth, which is in the land of Benjamin. For the right of the inheritance is yours, and the redemption. Buy it for yourself. I knew that this was the word of Yah. And I bought the field which was at Anathoth from Hanamael, my uncle's son, and weighed out to him the silver, 17 shekels of silver. And I signed the deed and sealed it, took witnesses and weighed the silver in the scales. Then I took the deed of the purchase, that which was sealed according to the command and law, and that which was open, and I gave the deed of the purchase to Baruch, son of Neruah, son of Maaseiah, in the presence of Hanamael, my uncle's son, and in the presence of the witnesses who signed the deed of purchase before all the Yehudim who sat in the court of the guard. And I commanded Baruch, before their eyes, saying, Thus said Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, take these deeds, both this deed of purchase which is sealed, and this deed which is open, and put them in an earthen vessel, so that they remain many days. For thus said Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, houses and fields and vineyards shall again be brought in this land. And after I had given the deed of purchase to Baruch, son of Neruiah, I prayed to Yah, saying, O Adonai, Yah, see, you have made the Shamaim and the earth by your great power and outstretched arm. There is no matter too hard for you. Okay. Who show kindness to thousands and repay the wickedness of the fathers into the bosom of their children after them. The great and mighty El Yah of hosts is his name, great in counsel and mighty in work. For your eyes are open to all the ways of the sons of men, to give everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his deeds. For you have put signs and wonders in the land of Mitzrayim to this day, and in Yasharel and among other men. And you have made yourself a name as it is this day. And you have brought your people, Yasharel, out of the land of Mitzrayim with signs and wonders, with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, and with great fearsome deeds. And you gave them this land, of which you swore to their fathers to give them, a land flowing with milk and honey. And they came in and possessed it, but they did not obey your voice, nor did they walk in your Torah. They did not do all that you commanded them to do, so you brought all this evil upon them. See the siege, see the siege mounds. They have come to the city to take it. The city has been given into the hand of the Castites, who fight against it because of the sword and the scarcity of food and pestilence. And what you have spoken has come about, and look, you see it. Yet you, O Adonai, Yah, have said to me, Buy the field for silver and take witnesses, although the city has been given into the hand of the Castites. Then the word of Yah came to Yirmeyahu, saying, See, I am Yah, the Elohim of all flesh. Is there any matter too hard for me? Therefore, thus says Yah, See, I am giving this city into the hand of the Castites, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, and he shall take it. And the Castites who fight against this city shall come and light fire to the city and burn it, with the houses on whose roofs they burned incense to Baal and poured out drink offerings to other mighty ones to provoke me. For the children of Yasharel and the children of Yehuda have done only evil before me from their youth. For the children of Yasharel have only provoked me with the work of their hands, declares Yah. For this city has been a cause for my displeasure and my wrath from the day that they built it, even to this day, and I shall remove it from before my face, because of all the evil of the children of Yasharel and the children of Yehuda, which they have done to provoke me. They, their sovereigns, their heads, their Kohanim, their Nabim, their men of and the men of Yehuda and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and they have turned their back to me and not their face. Though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them, they did not listen to receive instruction, and they put their abominations in the house which is called by my name to defile it, and they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of Ben Hinnom, to offer up their sons and their daughters to Molech, which I did not command them, nor did it come into my heart that they should do this abomination, to make Yehuda sin. And now, thus says Yah, the Elohim of Yasharel, concerning this city of which you say, it shall be given into the hand of the sovereign of Babel by the sword and by scarcity of food and by pestilence. See, I am gathering them out of all the lands where I have driven them in my displeasure and in my wrath and in great rage. And I shall bring them back to this place and shall let them dwell in safety. And they shall be my people, and I shall be their Elohim. And I shall give them one heart and one way to revere me all the days, for the good of them and their children after them. And I shall make an everlasting covenant with them, and I do not turn back from doing good to them. And I shall put my reverence in their hearts, so as not to turn aside from me. And I shall rejoice over them to do good to them, and shall plant them in this land in truth with all my heart and with all my being. For thus said Yah, as I have brought all this great evil on this people, so I am bringing on them all the good that I am speaking to them. And fields shall be bought in this land of which you are saying, it is a wasteland, without man or beast. It has been given into the hand of the Castites. Fields shall be brought for silver, and deeds signed and sealed, and witnesses be called in the land of Benjamin, and in the places around Jerusalem, and in the cities of Yehuda, in the cities of the mountains, and in the cities of the low countries, in the cities of the Negeb. For I shall turn back their captivity, declares Yah. Chapter 33. And the word of Yah came to Yirmeyahu a second time, while he was still shut up in the court of the guard, saying, thus says Yah, who made it, Yah, who formed it to establish it. Yah is his name. Call unto me, and I shall answer you, and show you greatness and unknowns, which you have not known. For thus said Yah, the Elohim of Yasharal, concerning the houses of the city and the houses of the sovereigns of Yehuda, which are thrown down against the siege mounds, and the sword, while coming to fight with the Castites, and to fill their places with the corpses of men, whom I shall lay in my displeasure and my wrath, for whose evil I have hidden my face from this city. See, I am bringing to it relief and healing, and I shall heal them and reveal to them the riches of peace and truth. And I shall turn back the captivity of Yehuda and the captivity of Yasharel, and shall build them as at the first, and shall cleanse them from all their wickedness, and their wickedness that they have sinned against me. And I shall pardon all their wickednesses, and they have sinned, and by which they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise, and a pride before all nations of the earth, who hear all the good I am doing to them. And they shall revere and quiver for all the goodness and all the peace I am doing to it. Thus says Yah, in this place of which you say, it is dried up without man and without beast, in the cities of Yehuda and the streets of Jerusalem that are deserted, without man and without inhabitant and without beast. There shall once again be heard the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of bridegroom and the voice of bride, the voice of those who are saying, praise Yah of hosts, for Yah is good, for his kindness is forever, of those who are bringing the offering of praise into the house of Yah. For I shall turn back the captivity of the land as at the first, declares Yah. Thus said Yah of hosts, in this place which is dried up without man and without beast, and in all its cities there shall once again be a home of shepherds causing their flocks to lie down in the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the low country, and in the cities of the Negeb, and in the land of Benjamin, and in the places around Jerusalem, and in the cities of Yehuda, the flocks once again pass under the hands of him who counts them, declares Yah. See, the days are coming, declares Yah, when I shall establish the good word which I promised to the house of Yasharel and to the house of Yehuda. In those days and at that time, I cause a branch of righteousness to spring forth for David, and he shall do right ruling and righteousness in the earth. In those days, Yehuda shall be saved, and Jerusalem dwell safely. And this is that which shall be proclaimed to her, Yah, our righteousness. For thus says Yah, for David, there is not to cease a man to sit on the throne of the house of Yasharel. And for the Kohanim, the Levites, there is not to cease a man to offer burnt offerings before me, to kindle grain offerings, and to slaughter continually. And the word of Yah came to Yirmeyahu, saying, thus says Yah, if you could break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that there be no day and night in their season, then my covenant could also be broken with David, my servant. So he shall not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the Kohanim, my attendants. As the host of the Shamaim is not counted, nor the sand of the sea measured, so I increase the descendants of David, my servant, and the Levites, those who attend upon me. And the word of Yah came to Yirmeyahu, saying, have you not observed what these people have spoken, saying, the two clans which Yah has chosen have been rejected by him, so they have despised my name, no more to be a nation before them. Thus said Yah, if my covenant is not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the laws of the Shamaim and the earth, then I would also reject the descendants of Yaakov and David my servant. So I should not take of his descendants to be rulers over the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I shall turn back their captivity and have compassion on them. Okay. Okay, chapter 34. The word which came to Yirmeyahu from Yah, when Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, and all his army and all the reigns of the earth under his rule, and all his army, and all the people fought against Jerusalem and all its cities, saying, thus says Yah, the Elohim of Yasharel, go and speak to Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, and say to him, thus said Yah, see, I am giving this city into the hand of the sovereign of Babel, and he shall burn it with fire, and you shall not escape out of his hand, but certainly be taken and given into his hand. And your eyes shall see the eyes of the sovereign of Babel, and his mouth shall speak with your mouth, and you shall go to Babel. But hear the word of Yah, O Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda. Thus says Yah concerning you, you shall not die by the sword. In peace you are to die, and as in the burnings of spices for your fathers and the former sovereigns who were before you. So they shall burn spices for you and lament for you, saying, alas, master, for I have spoken the word, declares Yah. And Yirmeyahu the Nabi spoke all these words to Sidkiyahu, the sovereign of Yehuda in Jerusalem. Okay. While the sovereign of Babel's armies was fighting against Jerusalem and all the cities of Yehuda that were left against Lachish and Azekah, for only these walled cities remained of the cities of Yehuda. The word which came to Yirmeyahu from Yah after sovereign Sidkiyahu had made a covenant with all the people who were at Jerusalem to proclaim release to them, that everyone was to let his male and female slave go free, the Hebrew man and the Hebrew woman. No one was to keep a Yehudi, his brother, enslaved. And when all the heads and all the people who had come into the covenant heard that each one was to let his male and female slaves go free and not keep them enslaved any longer, they obeyed and released them. But afterward, they changed their minds and made the male and female slaves return, whom they had let go free, and brought them into subjection as male and female slaves. Wow. Therefore, the word of Yah came to Yirmeyahu from Yah, saying, thus said Yah, the Elohim of Yasharel, I myself made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage, saying, at the end of 7 years, each one should let his Abri brother go free, who has been sold to him. And when he has served you 6 years, you shall let him go free from you. But your fathers did not obey me, nor incline their ears. And you recently turned and did what was right in my eyes, each man proclaiming release to his neighbor. And you made a covenant before me in the house in the house which is called by my name, but you turned back and profaned my name, and each one of you took back his male and female slaves, whom he had let go free at their pleasure, and brought them into subjection to be your male and female slaves. Therefore, thus said Yah, you have not obeyed me in proclaiming release, each one to his brother and each one to his neighbor. See, I am proclaiming release to you, declares Yah, to the sword, to the pestilence, and to the scarcity of food, and I shall make you a horror to all reigns of the earth, and I shall give the men who are transgressing my covenant, who have not established the words of my covenant which they made before me, when they cut the calf in two and passed between the parts of it, the heads of Yehuda and the heads of Jerusalem, the eunuchs and the Kohanim, and all the people of the land who pass between the parts of the calf. And I shall give them into the hands of their enemies and into the hand of those who seek their life. And their corpses shall be for food to the birds of the Shamaim and the beasts of the earth, and I shall give Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, and his heads into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those who seek their life, and into the hand of the sovereign of Babel's army that has withdrawn from you. See, I am commanding, declares Yah, and shall bring them back to this city, and they shall fight against it, and take it, and burn it with fire. And I shall make the cities of Yehuda a ruin without inhabitant. Chapter 35, the word which came to Yirmeyahu from Yah in the days of Jehoiakim, son of Yoshayahu, sovereign of Yehuda, saying, go to the house of the Rechabites, and you shall speak to them, and bring them into the house of Yah, into one of the rooms, and give them wine to drink. And I took Yazaniah, son of Yirmeyahu, the son of Habet Sinya, and his brothers and all his sons, and all the house of the Rechabites, and brought them into the house of Yah, into the room of the sons of Hanan, son of Yigdal Yahu, a man of Elohim, which was by the chamber of the heads above the room of Maaseyahu, son of Shalom, the keeper of the door. And I put before the sons of the house of the Rechabites bowls filled with wine and cups. And I said to them, drink wine. And they said, we do not drink wine, because Yonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, you should not drink wine, neither you nor your sons forever, and do not build a house, neither sow seed, nor plant a vineyard, nor have any of these, but dwell in tents all your days, so that you live many days on the face of the land where you are sojourners. So we obeyed the voice of Yonadab, son of Rechab, our father, and all that he commanded us, to drink no wine all our days, we, our wives, our sons, and our daughters, nor to build ourselves houses to dwell in. And we have no vineyard, field, or seed, but we dwell in tents, and have obeyed and done according to all that Yonadab our father commanded us. And it came to be, when Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, came up into the land, that we said, come, let us go to Jerusalem, for fear of the army of the Kassites, and for fear of the army of the Armenians. So we dwell at Jerusalem. And the word of Yah came to Yirmeyahu, saying, Thus said Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, Go, and you shall say to the men of Yehuda and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, Have you not received instruction to obey my words, declares Yah? The words of Yonadab, son of Rechab, which have commanded his sons not to drink wine, are established, and they have not drunk until this day, for they have obeyed their father's command. And as for me, I have spoken to you rising early and speaking to you, but you have not obeyed me. And I sent you my servants, the Nabim, rising up early and sending them, saying, Turn each one from his evil way, and make good your deeds, and do not go after other mighty ones to serve them. And you shall dwell in the land which I have given you and your fathers, but you have not inclined your ear nor obeyed me. The sons of Jonadab, son of Rechab, have indeed carried out the command of their father which he commanded them, but this people has not obeyed me. Therefore, thus said Yah, Elohim of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, See, I am bringing on Yehuda and on all of the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the evil I have pronounced against them, because I have spoken to them, but they did not listen, and I have called to them, but they did not answer. And Yirmeyahu said to the house of the Rechabites, Thus said Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, because you have obeyed the command of Yonadab your father, and guarded all his commands, and done according to all that he commanded you. Therefore thus said Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, of Yonadab, son of Rechab, there shall never cease to be a man to stand before me. Wow. Chapter 36. And it came to be in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, son of Yeshayahu, sovereign of Yehuda, that this word came to Yirmeyahu from Yah, saying, Take a scroll and write in it all the words that I've spoken to you against Yasharel and against Yehuda and against all the nations from the day I spoke to you, from the days of Yoshayahu even to this day. It could be that the house of Yehuda hears all the evil which I plan to bring upon them, so that each one turns back from his evil way, and I shall pardon their wickedness, and their sin. And Yirmeyahu called Baruch, son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote on the scroll from the mouth of Yirmeyahu all the words of Yah which he had spoken to him. And Yirmeyahu commanded Baruch, saying, I am shut up. I am unable to hear the house of Yah. But you shall enter and shall read from the scroll which you have written from my mouth the words of Yah, and hearing of the people of the house of Yah on the day of fasting, and also read them in the hearing of Yehudi who come from their cities. It could be that they present their supplications before Yah, and they turn back each one from his evil way. For great is the displeasure for the wrath that Yah has spoken against this people. And Baruch son of Neriah did according to all that Yirmeyahu the Nabi commanded him, reading the words of Yah in the house of Yah. And it came to be in the 5th year of Jehoiakim, son of Yeshayahu, sovereign of Yehuda, in the 9th month, that they called a fast before Yah to all the people in Jerusalem, and to all the people who came from the cities of Yehuda to Jerusalem. And Baruch read from the book the words of Yirmeyahu in the house of Yah, in the room of Yirmeyahu, son of Shaphan, the scribe, in the upper courtroom at the entry of the new gate of the house of Yah, and the hearing of all the people. And Micaiah, son of Yirmeyahu, son of Shaphan, heard all the words of Yah from the book. Then he went down to the sovereign's house into the scribe's room, and there all the heads were sitting: Elishama, the scribe, and Deliyahu, son of Shemayahu, and Nathan, son of Akbar, and Yirmeyahu, son of Shaphan, and Sidkiyahu, son of Hananiah, and all the heads. And Micaiah told them all the words which he heard when Baruch read the book in the hearing of the people. Then all the heads sent Yehudi, son of Nathaniah, son of Yirmeyahu, son of Cushi, to Baruch, saying, Take in your hand the scroll from which you have read in the hearing of the people, and come. So Baruch, son of Neriyahu, took the scroll in his hand and came to them. And they said to him, Sit down, please, and read it in our hearing. Then Baruch read it in their hearing, and it came to be, when they had heard all the words, that they looked at each other in fear and said to Baruch, We are certainly going to report all these words to the sovereign. And they asked Baruch, saying, Please explain to us, how did you write all these words from his mouth? And Baruch answered them, From his mouth he spoke all these words to me, and I wrote them with ink in the book. Then the head said to Baruch, Go hide, you and Yirmeyahu, and let no one know where you are. And they went to the sovereign into the court, but they put the scroll in the room of the Elishama, the scribe, and told all the words in the hearing of the sovereign. And the sovereign therefore sent Yehudi to bring the scroll, and he took it from the room of Elishama the scribe. And Yehudi read it in the hearing of the sovereign, in the hearing of all the heads standing beside the sovereign. And the sovereign was sitting in the winter house in the 9th month, with the fire burning on the hearth before him. Then it came to be, when Yehudi had read 3 or 4 columns, that the sovereign cut it with the scribe's knife and threw it into the fire that was on the hearth, until the entire scroll was burned in the fire that was on the hearth. Yet the sovereign and his servants, who heard all these words, were not afraid, nor did they tear their garments. Moreover, Elnathan the Delayahu and Yirmeyahu pleaded with the sovereign not to burn the scroll, but he did not listen to them. And the sovereign commanded Yirmeyahu, son of the sovereign, and Sariahu, son of Azrael, and Shelemayahu, son of Abdiel, to seize Baruch and the scribe and Yirmeyahu the Nabi, but Yah had hid them. And after the sovereign had burned the scroll with the words which Baruch had written from the mouth of Yirmeyahu, the word of Yah came to Yirmeyahu, saying, Take another scroll and write it on all the former words that were on the first scroll, which Jehoiakim, the sovereign of Yehudah, has burned. And say to Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehudah, Thus said Yah, You have burned this scroll, saying, Why have you written in it that the sovereign of Babel is certainly coming to destroy this land and cause man and beast to cease from here? Therefore, thus says Yah concerning Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehudi, he shall have no one to sit on the throne of David, and his dead body is to be thrown out to the heat of the day and the frost of the night, and I shall punish him and his seed and his servants for their wickedness, and I shall bring on them on the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the men of Yehudi all the evil I have spoken against them. But they did not listen. So Yirmeyahu took another scroll and gave it to Baruch the scribe, son of Neriyahu, who wrote on it from the mouth of Yirmeyahu all the words of the book which Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehudi, had burnt in the fire, and many similar words were added to them. Okay, well, thank you for staying with me through the reading of chapter 36 of Yirmeyahu or Jeremiah. Okay, blessings. Have a good evening.